Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Let's Get Real. You're listening to Brenda
and Ashley, and today we have a brand new episode for you guys that I think will be very beneficial for you at this time.
Let's talk about recap, like what we're going on, what's happening. So basically, we all know what's going on. Self-isolation still currently in process. So, again, we're pretty much doing the same thing we did last week. I'm recording at mine, Ashley's recording at hers, and we're trying to be as self-isolated as possible.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit depressing, and this is coming from an introvert.
And from an extrovert.
Yeah, it's like I'm kind of losing my mind. I had company, just like one person over, and that was refreshing, but like being alone has been very intense because I live alone, so it's like I'm like really alone.
Yeah, I know everyone's having a hard time, but I hope everyone's still keeping safe and still doing okay. Hopefully, like I said before, this is all going to end soon and we can go back to our normal lives.
I read a post saying that it could last like a year.
Actually, let's not talk about the negativity, okay?
I know. I don't want to believe it.
I truly don't.
You know what? I don't think it's going to be a year. I saw that Wuhan, China, which is where it originated in. So they went into self-isolation on January 23rd, and they're actually lifting the lockdown on April 8th.
Yeah, that's true. And their numbers are slowly going down. Like, they're not getting a lot of increase. I know U.S. right now is doing really bad. But, yeah.
Canada, too, though, if we're being honest.
I mean, not as bad as the States, but...
Yeah, no.
But we're,
anyways,
we're next door.
My God. So if you guys are quarantined with your lover, then this is a good episode for you to hear.
So today we're going to be talking about pet peeves and dating deal breakers. So we'll go over a couple of things, facts, tips, things that we think are pet peeves for ourselves. So...
So we're going to go into communicating with your partner, how to kind of make the best of the situation. And, we'll just talk about some stuff that you guys probably will relate to when it comes to pet peeves and being around someone 24/7. So, like, obviously relationships are not perfect, duh. How do you deal with things that bother you or piss you off, Brenda? Like, what is your approach to things that, like, your boyfriend does that you don't like?
I think the biggest thing, if something is bothering you, is being able to talk about it and communicate with each other, because if the person doesn't know that it bothers you, how are they going to stop or fix it, right? So I think key is obviously communication and having that conversation, right? Like letting them know, like, okay, the first time it was funny, it was okay, but like it's starting to get old, letting them know that it's making you feel some type of way. Because then they're just going to keep on doing it. And if you're not communicating that, then it's not their fault either, because how are they going to know that it bothers you? They can't read your mind, right? So I think key is definitely communication and letting them know. Like, I know sometimes people have a hard time understanding that it's not cool, so they keep doing it because they think, okay, whatever, like, I'm just going to keep doing me. But it's like, no, let them know, like, all right, you need to stop.
Yeah. Like, I feel like for me, I used to be the kind of person that would just like make little comments and assume that they know what I mean, like as if they're mind readers. So like, let's say like there's something small that pisses me off and I just like make a joke about it, but then they're not changing it. Inside, I would like get annoyed at that, but I wouldn't say anything because I was just like, I don't want confrontation. This is years ago. Now it's like I will give you probably 3 times to do something, and then I'll say it, but in a nice way, like, oh, by the way, like, I don't really like this, or blah, blah, blah. Because, like, if I say it the first time, it's kind of like, I don't know if you're going to do it again. So I'll give you those 3 chances, and then I'll mention it and communicate and be very open about it, but without being aggressive. Like, I don't feel you need to be aggressive unless it's been repeated 100 times, and it's like, okay, like, I told you I don't like when your fucking socks are on the couch,
Yeah.
But you definitely got to be open about it.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I agree with you 100%. I think there's definitely, like I said, communication. Like, it has to be there. Yeah. So, in terms of things that bother us, what would you say are your pet peeves? We can talk about, like, 3 of each of our pet peeves and, like, talk a little bit about it. So, what are or, like, one of yours?
My number 1 is definitely someone who's dirty. And, like, by dirty, I don't mean messy. Messy, I can handle because, as we know, I don't mind cleaning up after a man. So, Like, that's like my role in my eyes. Not like clean up after him like he's a baby, but like, anyways, before we get into that. So like, if you leave little things around, like, that's okay. I'll take care of it. But I don't like someone who's dirty. Like, that pisses me off. So when I say that, I mean, A, poor hygiene skills. That's bad. B, like, you just don't clean. Like, if you're unorganized, fine. But if you don't clean at all, like, you leave, like, sauce on the counter and let it get sticky and you don't give a fuck. I'd rather you leave the box of cereal on the counter than let there be sticky substance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, messy is fine, but dirty it just gets me so mad. Like, dirty fingernails. That's like my biggest, like, I could go on and on for days. I hate that shit. What's one of yours?
One of mine, I would say, like, my number one would be, like, when a person always wants to be right. So, like, you're in an argument or you're trying to talk about something. This is not necessarily with your significant other, but, like, with a person. Like, with the person in general. Like,
stay away from Leos.
If it's someone who consistently, like, wants to always be right, or like you get into arguments and they're always the type that they want the apology and they can't see that they've also done wron, or like this is also somewhat of their fault. I just can't I can't appreciate a person who can't, man up, or just pretty much say like, okay, I know I've done wrong too in this situation, and I know it's not just your fault, it's mine too. I appreciate when someone can, see that and not just say it's always you, because I just fucking hate that shit. In a person, under my skin. I can't be with someone who's like that. I can't be friends with someone. That's just, to me, that's super toxic. Like, there's always two people playing in a situation. Like, it's two people that did something. So just say you're sorry. The other person says you're sorry. Talk about it and just, move on.
I agree. That's very valid. I'm like that too. It's if you can't see your faults and your wrongs and you can't even be open-minded to it, it's like, why are we having this conversation? You feel like you're talking to a wall.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. Another one of mine, this one sounds silly, but because of my personality, it's a little pet peeve of mine. If I'm dating someone and they have like way too many friends and functions and events to be at, and I have to go as their plus one, like, that pisses me off. And not in a way that like I'll be angry at them, but like in a way that like I just can't do it. Like, I don't want to. I can't pretend to be okay with it every single week. Like, I've never been in that situation.
Don't be
dating. For a while, I can date an extrovert as long as the extrovert is understanding of who I am and they're okay with me, that like maybe I won't want to be out 4 times a week. Like, I've never had to experience this too much, but at one point, like in the early days, I felt myself getting close to like feeling like I was out all the time until I got used to it. But like now I just don't want to be around people all the time. Like, I want one-on-one time. Like, it's a big pet peeve of mine to feel like I never have one-on-one time with my partner, like, because we always have to be around people. I like to have one-on-one time, and I like to make sure that there's a balance between social life and relationship.
Yeah, that's understandable. I can see that.
Yeah.
Another one of mine would be, and this kind of connects to my first one, but when someone wants you to be someone that you're not. So basically, like, kind of like what you talked about, like, this person's an extrovert and they want, you're an introvert and you're always going out or trying to like make ends meet because this person always wants to do things that you don't necessarily like. And I know a lot of people, this is where shit like sometimes gets fucked up, because sometimes you don't date a person who is pretty much the male version or the female version of you. So, one person might like something and that person is just not interested in it, right? Like, I know, for example, me and my boyfriend, one thing he's very passionate about is gaming. And I have, like, no interest in gaming. Like, I'm not a gamer. I don't know much. Like, the most I know about gaming is, like Super Mario. That's as far as it gets. But like, I appreciate that, he finds interest in it and he likes it and he enjoys it. And I'm not going to stop him from doing that because that's something he likes to do, right? I have my own hobbies and things that I'm interested in that he doesn't really find interest in. But you find that like balance between each other. So I think that's very important. Like, if your significant other wants to get involved and wants to learn about it, that's great. That's good too. Like, I like to learn things too and know about certain things. Like, I recently learned about Overwatch and I had no idea what it was. And like esports and stuff, I didn't know that was a thing until recently. So it's fine, but knowing that I can still be myself and not pretend that it's something that I'm in love with or that I show interest in, I like that. Like, it's natural. Like, he knows that. He's respectful about it. Like, I think that's super important, because then it happens with YouTubers too, right? Like, one person wants to be a YouTuber, the other doesn't, or they're like social shy, and then it's hard to, find the balance, because it's feels forced. Like, the person is making you do something you don't necessarily enjoy doing or like doing.
Yeah, I can see that. That can get, like, you'll start to feel like you're pretending to be someone you're not, and it's like, it's never okay. My last pet peeve is when I have to repeat myself. I fucking hate doing that. Like, if I tell you over and over again, this is how I feel about something, and you don't respect me enough to, like, take it seriously, then that's really upsetting. Especially if it's, you know what, if it's serious things, it's a way bigger deal. Like, we're not really talking about that as much. It's more like even the small things. So if I say, like, I really don't like when you leave this light on, I really don't like when you do this, like, if I'm being specific about something and you just don't listen, it's like, come on. Or if I tell you, I don't like when you do this, I like when you do this, blah blah blah. Oh my god, I hate repeating myself. I hate it, because I just feel like you don't respect me,
or you're not fully focused on the person.
Yeah,
like, you're not taking them seriously.
Really fair.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to tell you 17 times. Like, 2 times fine, but like 6 times it's like, okay, come on,
get it together. My third one would be, this is like something very, I wouldn't say stupid, but it's like little things.
Like petty.
Petty, I guess. When people leave the toilet seat up, oh my goodness. And this goes back with other little things. Like, I hate when people don't, put the toilet seat down after they use it, or they don't replace the toilet paper, or a person doesn't clean after themselves. So those are pretty much self-explanatory. Like, I just, like, it's like, if you're there, just leave it how you found it. You know what I mean? Like, clean up after yourselves.
That pisses me off.
Don't, like, have someone else do your dirty work. Like, if you're gonna, bake and cook, clean your dishes, clean your pot, clean your plate. Like, there's no reason why someone else has to do that for you. Obviously, like, if you're in a relationship and you want to, like, do 50-50, you're cooking, he's cleaning, that's fine. But I'm just saying, like, if I'm gonna cook myself, a bowl of pasta, and I'm leaving the plate there for someone else to wash it, that's just not cool. Same thing with, like, the toilet paper. Like, if you were the last one in the washroom and you finished the roll, just fucking put a new one. Just put a new one. It's not that hard. It's pretty simple, because you don't want to be that person who's, like, in the washroom and then you're gonna scream for the next person and be like, hey bro, I need some toilet paper, like, I need a new roll, someone decided not to freaking replace it, and then you're just so stuck in the toilet waiting for someone to come and help you.
And they have to do the same amount of work,
right?
Like, either they do it at that moment and they make everyone's life easier, or they do it an hour later and now they're busy and they have to get up from their game and go do it.
Exactly.
So it's like, either way you're doing it. So annoying. Okay, so how do you find a balance and learn to compromise with your partner? Because obviously these things happen whether we like them or not. So, like, what's your go-to method, like, other than just communication? Like, is there something else that works for you to really have these things sink in?
Communication. No, other than communication, I would say I think just respecting each other's space and knowing when, enough is enough. Like, again, it's fine the first time, a second time, if you're trying to joke about it, but then know that person, feels a certain way and it's not right. It's kind of like when you have a sibling and they keep on, poking you after you tell them to stop. It gets annoying. So it's like, just, respect that person's thought. And again, like, maybe you like doing something. So maybe the person doesn't like when you chew. So, okay, fine. When they're out of the room, do your thing. But yeah, if someone doesn't like certain things, like how you wash your hands or how you chew, like stupid things, just try to find a way to see where you can still do what you like doing, but not bother the person that gets annoyed of it, if that makes sense. So just finding a common ground, somewhere where you can kind of meet in the middle. Not saying that you have to completely stop, unless it's something that's really stupid and disrespectful. I feel like it's easier to stop doing something like dumb, but if it's something that you can change, then try to find a common ground between your line and his line.
And what do you think about like doing little things to teach them a lesson? So like let's say there's something that they do really often and you've told them multiple times, like would you be the type to like take pictures of it over and over again and then just like show them a collection of photos and be like, this is how many times you've done this in the past 2 weeks? You know what I mean? Like to visualize it, like so they can see like what they're doing. Like do you think that's petty, immature, or do you
To be honest, I think that's kind of petty. Because then you're just holding tallies and holding, like, numbers of, like, this person did this and that person did that. And I think, again, like, if you're communicating about it and talking about it and respecting each other, there's no need for you guys to be holding, you know, charts of who did what and, you know, numbers. And it's one of those things where you talk about it, you forgive each other, respect it, and then move on. Because it's like when someone cheats on someone. If you're deciding to take that person back, then you're deciding at that point that you're forgiving that person and you're moving past it. Because if you're going to keep throwing shade and bringing it up, then there's no point of you fixing it or taking him back, because it's just going to be, you know, a back and forth argument all the time. It's like, if you're gonna fix it, you have to leave it past you, talk about it, and move forward. It's kind of like those prank things. One person does a prank, then the person wants to do another prank, and then it keeps going higher and higher and higher. So do you think it's important for couples to be talking about each other's pet peeves, or like talking about what bothers each other in their relationships?
I definitely think it is important, but I think those are two different things. So when it comes to pet peeves, I think that if it affects the relationship directly, yes, you need to talk about it. But if it's small things you can get over, I don't think it needs to be a discussion every time. Like when I was in my relationship, like there were little things that pissed me off, but then there were also little things that pissed him off about me. And some things just don't need to be discussed if it's not affecting the relationship. If it's something I can look past, then it's like for example, one of my pet peeves was, it was so dumb. It was just like, it was so dumb. It was that he laughed way too loud at the movie theater. Like way too loud. Like I would be so embarrassed. And this was something that like got like under my skin, but not in like a bad way, because it's not a bad thing. But like it definitely, like with my social anxiety, I was just like, oh my God, like I wish he just wouldn't do this. Am I going to sit him down and tell him, I wish you didn't laugh in the movie theater, and like have a discussion about it? No, because it doesn't affect the relationship. It's something I can get over. It's my problem. You know what I mean? I think that some pet peeves are our own personal problems that we need to deal with and we don't need to bring up. However, when you said like things that bother me, yes, I think it should be discussed. If it's like, you know, I don't like that you never put my seat back up in the car when you get out. Like that's something that like it might annoy me really often, and I'd rather just tell you so that you just don't do it, you know?
Fair enough.
But that's my thoughts on it. Yeah, what do you think?
I think it's important too, because like I said, when you're in a relationship, it's like a two-way street. Like you need to talk about things. You guys need to know where each person lays. Like again, it could be, I think even the smallest things is important to talk about, because it's something that you might think doesn't bother you that much, but the more you see it or hear it, the more you're like, fuck, like this really like triggers me, like it really gets me annoyed. So I think,
what about like the thing that I said, the small thing, like mine? Do you think that's worth
like
it
to
for
talk
you?
to
You bring that
about the
laughing
laughing? Yeah, because then you're gonna feel self-conscious all the time you
Really?
go to a theater, because you're like, oh, do I want to watch a comedy because he's gonna be laughing so hard and everyone's gonna be staring? I don't know. I think everything,
I guess it depends on the person.
Yeah, I think it's important.
It depends on the person.
Because, and it's not saying that like change who you are, like don't laugh anymore, but it's just good to know that the person feels a certain way, so they can kind of,
I feel like sometimes you gotta just like let it be, because like
no, let it be.
No one's
let
perfect.
It be, of course. I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying change yourself, like don't laugh anymore.
Yeah.
But let them know, like, lol, your laugh is, you know, a little bit loud.
Maybe contain it a little bit.
Or something. Make a comment.
God.
Let them know. I mean,
Yeah.
not
That's
saying
true.
like change who you are. Of course, I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying like let them know how you feel.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think it's important. Again, the more you know about each other and how each other, like how one feels about the other in certain things, I find that it makes the relationship stronger, because you're already mindful, you know these things, you respect that person because of it. I don't know. That's just me, but
Makes sense. Do you have any like deal breakers in relationships, whether it comes to like small annoying things, just like not just like cheating is a given, okay? So I know we gotta think about something other than cheating, But like, what's a deal breaker, and like, when do you know, like, okay, I'm done?
Well, one of the deal breakers for me would definitely be like one of my first pet peeves, which is a person who can't accept their wrongs. I can't, like, it's one thing where we go over it and, you know, like I tell you, like, listen, like, you know, this just seems to always be a me problem. Like, I'm always the one at fault, or I'm always the one that looks bad, or I'm the one that's not doing this. And it's getting to a point where I'm just starting to blame myself, and I just don't feel like the relationship is healthy, because you can't see where you're going wrong and how certain things also affect our relationship because of you. So I think that's a big thing. Like, and there's people who are super manipulative. Like, I remember one of my relationships, that was one of my biggest things where I knew, like, I had to call it quits, was because of that. Like, I felt like the person didn't know how to apologize and, like, admit, like, it's also your fault. You're not doing anything to fix things. And that stuff can be toxic to a relationship. I think that's definitely, like, a big thing to how relationships can be toxic. And being manipulative is, like, not cute.
It's not cute. No, I totally feel that. For me, I think that my main deal breaker is if there's never any progression. So, like, we have the same talk over and over again, whether it has to do with me or you, and there's no growth. It's kind of like we're stagnant in the relationship, and it's hard to overcome anything because there's never any effort, there's never any changes, there's never anything. And it's really like stunting the relationship's growth. And I think that's a point where you want to make a decision to be like, okay, I need to walk away now. Luckily, I've never really had that exact scenario, but that would be it for me. I would be like, okay, this is going nowhere.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that's stressful.
I think another one too is like when people start putting like an ultimatum on certain things.
Ew, I hate that.
I don't think that's cool. Like
Monse and Caesar.
Yes.
Like, Monse, like, if you guys watch On My Block, like, what was his ultimatum? You choose your mom or you choose me.
Yeah, like,
bitch.
Why are you telling me to choose my family and, like, between you and my family? Like,
yeah.
That's just...
And then didn't she give him one? She gave him an ultimatum too, no?
Did she? And I don't know, maybe. But certain things are just not cool. Or, like, pick me or your friends. It's like, what?
Dumb. That's stupid.
Like,
that's insecurity to me.
It's different if they choose to do it. Like, I'm not a fan of my family or how they're treating you or what they're doing. So I need to, like, lay off.
That's your choice.
Because that's your self-choice.
Yeah.
But telling someone they have to pick you over another person, that is whack as hell.
I think that's all insecurity. Another deal breaker for me is someone that's way too jealous and possessive. I hate that. Like, don't tell me what to do, what to wear, who to see, where to be. Like, that's not your job. I have a father, and you don't need to be doing that. Like, I will respect your wishes. If you say, like, you don't like something and it's fair and it's valid, like, yeah, like, I'll do what I can to make you comfortable with it. But to be over here, like, trying to run me and tell me what to do, like, that's not okay.
Yeah, I can see that too. Another thing I would say is, again, kind of like my other pet peeve, is like someone who's trying to make you be someone you're not. So, like, you have to entertain this person. Like, again, they're a rapper. They're, like, an artist. And, like, you're an introvert who likes to journal and read and do your own thing. And you're, kind of forced to go to these events or go to, like, parties, go to lounges. And it's not something that is, like, really your scene.
Yep.
And it's one thing to do it for the person, but it's another thing to feel like this is, like, your life now. Like, you're pretty much someone that you never thought you'd be, and now you're in this situation.
But you also have choice in that matter. Like, I wouldn't date a ball player or rapper knowing that I have to show up to events and smile on this carpet and this and that and socialize when you're not around. Like, because that's also a choice. Like, they're also free to be themselves as much as you are free to be yourself. So you choose to put up with it or not. Like, I wouldn't. But some people might, like, have too much love and stay around. But it's like you kind of knew what you're getting yourself into when you dated a rapper.
That's true.
You know what I mean? But, like, it there is a point where it's like, I don't know, because it's also tough because you want to be there in case your man is, like, a baller and there's all these women around, like you kind of want to be there.
Thirsty hoes.
Yeah, but then you're like, I don't want to be there because I hate that scene. I don't know. That one's a tough one. That's a tricky
hard.
One. Yeah.
That is hard. But that's why you got to know who you're getting yourself with, because some people, it's hard because, like, you see these relationships, and I was talking to Ashley about this before, where, like, you see these relationships and a lot of them are, like, splitting up because they don't know how to deal with the fame. They don't know how to deal with, you know, all these followers and subscribers and, you know, fans. It's sad. It's sad.
It is. Okay, so knowing everything that's going on right now, like, there are couples in quarantine. Like, there are people that are, like, really together right now.
Oh my God, the amount of people that I heard that have been, like, going through breaks or broken up because of all this, I'm like, damn, you'd be really, like, staying with your partner for, like, 2 weeks, and, like, it really took that for you guys to, like, know you guys are not meant for each other.
I know. Damn. I feel like if I had a boyfriend at this time, I feel like I would have a lot of fun, like, being quarantined. Like, you have a boyfriend. Oh, but you can't be with him as much right now.
I'm not with him.
Yeah, like, and if I had a boyfriend,
actually tried to, like, self-isolate ourselves, as, like, we used to hang out, like, every day. We're down to, like, maybe once a week. So it sucks.
Like, I would have so much fun, like, if I was in self-isolation and so was he. Like, if neither of us were, like, going out in the world, then I think that'd be so cool. But, like, I know some people are losing their minds, and, like, I'm like, why? But I also understand why. But, like, what do you think people are really struggling with right now being quarantined?
I think finding the patience. Like, I know right now, like I said, like, we're in a time where, you know, anxiety, stress is, like, at its top level. So I think especially people who, like, have kids and, like,
I would lose my fucking mind.
Yeah, like, having to deal with your kids and your significant other, and, like, having all these, like, shits thrown at you about the corona and the numbers, and I'd feel scared. Like, fuck. Like, I could see why some people are stressing out and, like, you know, getting to that level. But at the same time, it's like, again, if you guys have that communication and talk about it, like, you know, balance each other out. Like, when you're feeling low, try to have your partner, you know, maybe do a little bit more and help you out in certain things. Like, maybe you're always putting the kids to sleep. Maybe, like, switch it up a little. And I know right now it's hard because, like, our routines are all over the place. So trying to find a way where you can get your shit done, but also having fun with it. Like, having fun with your kids, having fun with your significant other. Maybe having them go to bed a little bit earlier so you can just, you know, have some you time with your partner. Or, like, again, just finding something that works for you and just not getting overwhelmed and over anxious, stressed out, because I think that's what is really affecting people right now, is, like, the anxiety and the stress during all this.
I think that also having space is necessary in this time. I understand not everybody has that option. Like, if you live in a studio apartment with your boyfriend, like, that's kind of impossible. And I'm going to pray for you guys, because that must be tough. Imagine living in a studio apartment with your man right now. Like, as much as you want to spend time with them, like, also you need space with, like, no balcony. Oh my God, I'd die. But, like, you need space. So, like, I would try and, you know, if they're doing something in one room, like, give yourself the time to go to the other room, do your own thing, like, spend a few hours apart, come back together. But if you're, like, actually spending every second together, like, you're showering together, you're waking up together, you're eating together, you're watching TV together, and then you go to bed together, it's like, damn, like, can you breathe? I think it's important so that you don't ever start to lose your mind. But I think a lot of people are struggling with, like, A, not having space, and B, like, just not understanding each other's boundaries at this point, because, like, there's no routine, there's no schedule, there's nothing, there's no structure. So life is kind of, like, on pause, and everything's all over the place, and you're just kind of, like, living on top of each other, you know? I don't know if that makes sense, but it's just, like, tough. I can't relate.
Yeah, I get it.
But it's tough.
Yeah, I can't relate either, but I mean, stay strong, guys. Like, don't let this affect your relationships. Yeah. Especially if, like, you're a core relationship where everything has been great.
Okay, we have a few questions that we're going to answer this week. We don't have many, but again, as we always say, send us questions to our Instagram, Let's Get Real the podcast. You can email us, whatever you want to do, because we do go over advice every single week, and it's a lot of fun for us to answer these questions. I've been liking this guy from my school since 16 for 4 years, but he insulted me once and laughed whenever I was humiliated. Asshole. I haven't seen him for 3 years because he moved away. I knew my crush hates me because he thinks I'm weird, but I still had feelings for him and found his Instagram and made a move on him. He blocked me. Oh my god, girl. Okay. Now he is in my college and he stares at me because he remembers I slide in his DMs. I've been cyberbullied online too, and they managed to text him about how obsessed I am about him. It's awkward whenever he sees me in college. I just want to forget about him and not let his rude stares bother me, but I'm still dealing with the cyberbullying. Any advice? He's an asshole. I hope that you're able to work through this crush. I mean, like, this is
honestly, how can you have a crush on someone who's just an asshole?
Like, he's mean. He's very mean. He blocked you. He did all this. I feel like crushes are tough when you're young because you don't see your value as much, so you don't realize like that you really don't need to put up with this shit, you know? And I feel like with this guy, you just have to keep reminding yourself that like he's not a good person and it's not going to go anywhere. And you kind of have to work through that and like maybe find a new little crush. I know that sounds like unhealthy. I'm not saying like, because it's not really a rebound. It's not like your heart broken. It's just kind of like a little distraction that will get you over this guy. But the cyberbullying, have you ever dealt with that?
Not really cyberbullying. I know it's very like common now, I think more so because of social media and things that are like remotely available for people. Especially I feel like it's a thing in elementary school for some stupid reason, and you're so young. But I know when I was in elementary school there was a lot of bullying going on. It's whack, honestly. People like
it's whack.
Grow the fuck up. Like,
yeah,
just be nice to each other. I mean, this is a time where you should be kind, because once people start getting into high school, college, they start to glow up, they start to like get a career path, and you're gonna want to talk to them and, you know, network maybe, and now you're just gonna feel like awkward as shit because you were so mean. So just fucking stop with the mean shit. Like, all I can really say in terms of this situation is, girl, like, if he's an asshole, you need to let it go, because this is the time where you need to understand your value, because you're still very young, and if you're letting people treat you like shit and still find something to like about them, then life's gonna get rough.
You have to go within at that point, because there's a reason why you're able to look past that and tolerate that. Like, I feel like that goes to like a lack of self-love and respect for yourself. And that's something you need to really look at, because you shouldn't be okay with that. But she did say, I'm still dealing with the cyberbullying. Any advice? I think that with cyberbullying, I feel like I honestly get cyberbullied online every single day. I can't read my comments anymore because of this. Like, I literally can't read my comments, which sucks because there's good in there. But you have to really understand that people that are cyberbullying, like, it sounds so cliche, but they have issues with themselves that they don't know how to deal with. So they go to people on the internet and they act all brave and they say things online that they would never say to your face. Like, I bet you these people that say this shit online would never go up to you and say them like directly to you. And you need to understand that these are just like internet trolls, whether they're people you know in real life or not. And you have the choice to turn off your comments, turn off your DMs, turn these things off. If you know it's triggering to you, do what you need to do and just avoid it until you're strong enough to deal with it, I think.
Yeah.
Like, you can mute comments.
Yeah, I've seen all these like documentaries of like bullying and stuff, and it's really messed up how people can be so mean out there. But I agree. It's people who honestly have their own inner issues that they need to learn to work with, and they don't know how to, so they take it out on other people. It's like a known fact that people who bully, it's because they have shit going on that they can't deal with, so they try to take it out on someone else. So just know that by you know, trying to get past it and ignoring it, it's you being that bigger person. Exactly. And at the end of the day, they're just trying to find a reaction out of you. So just ignore it, move on.
Yeah, don't give them the satisfaction.
Yeah.
So this person said, I've been single for 2 years now, and I find myself wanting to have someone in my life again. But I'm always hesitant because I don't see myself staying here in the U.S. after a few years, because I'm planning on working abroad, and I don't want a relationship tying me down. As a hopeless romantic, I can't do casual relationships either. It doesn't feel right to me. Do you have any advice for me? I would really appreciate your insight on my situation. That's a good question. Poor girl.
Damn, I've seen this in like movies.
Right?
Yeah, that's really hard because I see this in like movies and stuff where people like fall in love and then one person has to leave. So
And they chase him down at the airport.
it's hard. I mean, like, if you want to have a relationship, I mean, who knows? Sometimes, you know, long distance works for people. And like I said, like, don't stop yourself from meeting people just because you're scared of, you know, things going farther and not being able to, you know, continue that relationship. I think if you guys really care for each other, you'll find something that works for both of you. And my key thing is, don't go out looking for a relationship. Let it come to you. So do your thing, do what you're doing, and if the right person comes your way, just don't feel scared or like push them away because, again, you're scared that it's going to be something and you're not going to be able to, you know, work with it. So that's my advice.
Yeah, it's tough because I understand where she's coming from because she's really trying to protect her heart so she's not heartbroken, because inevitably this will either end up in her, you know, moving the country and having to break up with this person and she's heartbroken, or her staying and stopping herself from chasing her dreams because she wants to continue to be with this person, or if she gets really lucky, they're going to follow her there. But like, we don't know if that's going to happen. If I were you, I would personally be open to dating. I would. But I would tell people on like, once I start to feel a vibe there, I would let them know my plans in the future. Like, this is what I want to do. I understand if you know, if this is not something you'd ever be interested in. I'm not saying like you need to move with me, but like let them know so that you can stop it ahead of time before you're in too deep and your heart is protected that way. Because like, if you're honest with them from like date number 4, like your feelings are fine. Like maybe you'll be heartbroken for like 2 days, but you're going to get over it because you're not in love yet. So I would date. Don't stop yourself because you never know what a relationship might bring. Like what if you meet someone that, you know, brings other opportunities into your life better than being abroad? Or what if you meet someone who has the same goals as you, like wants to go abroad as well? Like you don't know. So I think you should give it a chance. Because like you said, after a few years, you're going to be single for years just because you're scared. Like, come on, no, put yourself out there, have fun, and deal with it later.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Because at the end of the day, what are you scared of if you don't know what's going to happen, right? Like, you can't keep thinking, what if? Like, just live your life, do what you want to do. And if it happens, deal with it as it comes, right? Like, I'm sure there will be a way to work it out in some way. Again, maybe, who knows? Maybe this person's trying to move too. So maybe they're just here for, you know, to have fun and to just enjoy life.
Exactly. If it's like the love of your life and if it's a soulmate, it's probably gonna happen that they have similar goals as you and have a similar life plan as you. So you might just meet your soulmate who wants to be abroad as well.
Yeah, and like, again, like, things come our way for a reason. I'm a true believer in everything happens for a reason. So if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Like, just think positive about it. And again, don't be afraid because then it's going to stop you from opportunities. Just take it as it comes and just go with the flow. If it's a problem later, then that's when you should deal with it. Have that conversation with him. But as of now, I don't feel like there's anything you need to worry about.
All right, guys. So that wraps up this episode. We hope you guys enjoyed this. We're still doing the isolation as we said. So we realized that last week's episode actually sounded really good. And we're really happy about that because I feel like you guys probably wouldn't have noticed if we didn't say anything.
Yeah, I know a lot of people told me that the audio sounded really good, so I was really happy about that. But yeah, guys, make sure to keep safe, keep indoors. I know a lot of you guys too have noticed that people are like having birthdays and stuff, and it really sucks because you can't really be with anybody. But during this time, honestly, the best thing to do is just think about the positives. The positive thing is, you know, there'll be other birthdays and there'll be more years to celebrate. And, you know, again, you're healthy, you're safe, your family's safe. So try not to stay in the negative. Try to think about the good stuff and things that, you know, you might have that other people don't. Like, you have a roof on top of your head. Some people who are homeless, you know, don't have that. Also, I feel like, you know, if you guys have any new, like, slogans, I kind of want to change it up a little bit.
Yeah, we need an outro.
Welcome to another episode. Like, something like, you know, what's going on? Let's get real. I don't know. But anyways, if you guys come up with
maybe
anything cool and catchy, let us know.
Yep. Also, don't forget, if this episode helped you out or if you think it's going to help a friend out, then send this shit over to them. If you have a couple living in quarantine that you know, send it to them. Send it to them. They can get some advice and share our podcast. Give us reviews. Give us all of that stuff.
Yes. And if you guys have topics you want us to talk about, I know we're starting to get into that phase where we're trying to struggle what to talk about. Let us know what you guys want to hear, and we'll be happy to talk about it. Send us your advice, your questions, concerns, comments, all of that.
All right, guys. So this was another episode. This was episode 11. We hope you loved it, and we'll be back next week for your weekly Monday episode.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks for listening. Bye.